Hi everyone and welcome to Eat Pray Art. Today we're going to be doing a whale and I just want to talk a little bit about this. So this whale started in my drawing journal a while back. I shared this on social media as well. It just started with me inking a whale with a little hole in it and I put Jonah praying, and then I kind of drew lines around to represent the sea, and then I kind of made buildings. So I liked this idea and I thought this would be fun, although I painted over this little hole here, and then later on I was like, oh, I should have left it white. So today we're going to leave it white when we do it, but I just wanted to share the process, how this started. So you can see these blooms that came here, and this is kind of what we're going to be doing hopefully on the whale, and this is just the starting point of the whale. Then later on, I did this in digital, and then I kind of drew another version of the whale, and then I left Mr. Jonah alone, and I drew like a little fire. I don't know why, but like when I was a kid, a lot of the Jonah stories, they were illustrated with him with the fire, and I used to always think, what about the whale? Like, he would have been really uncomfortable with the fire, no? Like, he would have had acidity. But anyways, I drew a little fire because I think the whale can bear a little acidity, so Jonah is not alone in the dark. And then I of course drew some stars and a moon and some buildings. So the verse that's been chosen for today is, I cried out to the Lord in my great trouble and he answered me. That's taken from Psalm 121. And I just wanted to, I'll also show you, this is the coloring page that you can download. The link below will give you this page. I have put it on Gumroad, but I've also started a page on my website where you can download it, and it's easier than Gumroad if people are having trouble. So both links are going to be under this video as well as shared on the group. So this is the coloring page that you can download and color whenever you have time. So I just found it very interesting when I went on the Bible app and I searched for Psalm 121. And it was very interesting to see the versions. Okay, so like for example, this is the CEV version, which is the contemporary English version. And it was very interesting. It says, when I am in trouble, I pray. Then if you go to the Passion Translation, it says, I was desperate for you to help me in my struggles, and you did. And then if you go to the KJV, the classic, in my distress I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me. And then the NIV version, I call on the Lord in my distress and he answers me. So I just found it really beautiful that the call here is to pray. And like that's actually what our posture should be always. No matter what happens, we just have to cry out to the Lord in whatever troubles that are facing us and pray. And sometimes our troubles may seem like we're in a whale and it seems overwhelming, just like it did for Jonah. But sometimes the whale is actually a blessing and we don't realize it. So that's the little like thought behind what we're doing today. So let's get started. Now I'm going to do two versions here. First, I'm going to sketch it for you, so you get familiar with the whale. And so first, I've got all these supplies. Like I've got pens, I got paint, got a paintbrush, I've got ink, I've got pastels. Whatever's comfortable for you, you can do. But for now, I'm just going to run through the shape of the whale, so it's a little understandable. So first, we'll begin with a circle. Now you can like draw a circle, like get a circle and make it. I'm just loosely making a circle for Mr. Jonah to be in, right? Now, when you look at a whale, the whale has a tail. The whale has a tail and it rhymes. I'm a poet and I know it. And then its fins and like a pointy. So sometimes it's like a pointy one, sometimes depending on the whale genre. But either way, the tail is going to be like, first draw like a mountain, and then it's like a fish fin. Okay, and then just go around. We're going to make this a fat wheel. I'm going to make the the top of the ocean here, and we're just going to draw around it. Now this wheel is different from this wheel, and you don't need to worry about that. Okay, now I'm not going to draw it symmetrical because I'm going to try something different. Okay, so I'm drawing. So here it's very symmetrical, but here I'm going to draw this, and then I'm going to draw a little volume for the wheel. Okay, so it shows that the wheel is a little fat, which is nice. And then I'm going to, as usual, give fins. So let's give it fins here. You can draw any fin that you'd like. I'm going to draw a little shorter fin here because it's kind of angled. So this way, like here you didn't get it was the top angle of the wheel, but I'm going to give the wheel a little bit of an eye. Let's make it a happy wheel. Okay, so this gives us a little more depth in the wheel. We can make it a little more fat, and then these are the lines of the wheel. Okay, so Mr. Jonah is in a little bit of liquid. I just drew a stick, and I drew a posture of prayer and a head. That's it. And if you'd like to draw fire, it's an S and another S, another S. So that's basically the sketch. Okay, now again you can make this fin pointy. You can make the fin pointy, and then if you'd like you can even make initially you can make the circle smaller, but I'm going to keep this the way it is, right? So now I'm going to write out the verse. I cried out to the Lord in my great trouble, and He answered me. Psalm 120 verse 1. Right? So now I'm going to draw some lines here in the direction of the fin. And if you want to make the fin a little bigger, you can. I think I'm going to. Okay, so that's kind of the rough sketch. Now this whale is going to be going to Nineveh or Bombay or whatever city you live in. I'm just drawing some buildings here. Okay. And the building, the ocean, I put a brown thing for a little logic, but you don't need to do that. The building can be just floating. Okay. So that's the sketch part. Now over this, you can get ink and then ink over it and then let it dry and then erase it. Like, for example, this is what I did. I didn't do pencil in this. I did ink, and then I did ink around. So what you want to do with your whale and Mr. Jonah is up to you. But I'm going to show you for people who love this the black pastel thing, that this is another way you can do this. So this is the drawing, right? Again, I can use this as a reference. And so again, I'm going to be drawing, this time I'll draw a smaller circle, right? Just to line the circle. And I'm going to draw the ocean here, up top, okay? And then Mr. Whale is going to come. I'm using this to sketch because it kind of pops up more. Okay. A whale is just like a big fish. So, and then a little more artistic fins. Right? This is a very delicate whale. Okay, and then I'm going to get white because it's kind of light and draw the volume part, the part that I did here. Okay, and then of course I need to draw the fin. So before the white, I'll draw the fin over here and the fin smaller here, and then the white can go under the fin because I don't want the colors to get muddy. So I'm just lining the fin like this. Okay, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of an eye. All right, so now because Jonah is already black, what we're going to do is we're going to draw around Jonah, which will be the yellow, which I seem to have lost. No, yeah. So now I'm going to negative draw and I'm going to draw a shape. And fire. I'm going to color around this. Okay. And I'm just going to get my finger and smudge it a little bit so you have an idea that Jonah is in the background. I mean, if you want to add a little black, you can. Okay. And a little bit of orange for the fire. A little bit of light blue for contrast. This is the... Okay, now the fun part starts. Now we're gonna, shall we make the buildings green maybe? We multicolor, some blue also. And I love this about buildings where you can draw windows. With the lights on. To represent that there are people living here. Okay. Now coming back to the whale, I'm going to use like a dark purple to line the whale. I'm just drawing lines to create like a texture for the whale. Then I'm going to just change my colors and just add a little variation to make it look like it's shaded. And a little bit of grey is also in a whale, so I'll add a little grey. So when you leave a little bit of black space, it's like the white space. It just creates a beautiful variation in the line work. Okay. Now because I filled the whale here, what I'll do is I'll do the writing part around. So I'll choose a light. So let's do a different version of the verse. that's a simple thing. Now if you'd like to kind of draw stars around a moon, so that's a. Now I'm not drawing the ocean because my words are in the ocean. So, but this is a nice version that you can play with in black. Okay, so that is, and again, like if Jonah is not prominent, then you can just color around him, or you, because Jonah represents all of us who can call on the Lord when we are in trouble. So this is the pastel one. Yes. Now this is a kneaded eraser which you can use to erase things and be left with just the idea of what you drew. So it's just an idea of what was there. Okay. Again, you have an option of using watercolor pencils. So I'm going to draw the line around the circle. Just to kind of create a border. And oops. Lefty troubles. Okay, and I'm drawing a stronger line over the fin because I don't want this part to come through. And now, of course, if you're brave, you can go ahead with direct painting. I'm not so brave. Oops. Okay, this is all going to get smudged, so I'm just creating a light line. And as you know, I'm making it slightly more fat because I like fat wheels. Okay. And then for the city, if you'd like, I'll go over this with pen, so once it dries. But I'm just doing this with watercolor pencils. So I've just done this. Okay. Now we've got an idea of what we want to do. I'm going to get some glue. I'm going to load it with water. I'm going to just do a fine line and remember to leave the space. Okay? Leave the space white for now. Okay? So I'm just loading it with water. Coloring just this part, not this part. Okay, not this part, only the top of the wheel. I'm just dipping it in water because then we're going to be doing a wet on wet. And feel free to smudge the watercolor pencil into the, so you get line work but it's kind of smudged. Alright. Now we're going to load this with paint. You see the bloom? Nice, na? And if you notice that I'm just doing it in light, like I'm not loading it with dark because with the build up it'll become dark. Okay. doing the fin a little darker for contrast. So wet on wet basically gives you beautiful blooms, and like if you like blooms. If you don't like blooms, then that's fine. So I'm painting this part a little darker because it's the top of the wheel. I've added a little bit of red to create like a deep purple. Because the water was around this, it'll stick to only what's wet. It won't spread beyond the line. And you can do some pattern work with, if you'd like, or not. It's nice. With my brush, I'm just spreading the variations around. Of course, your beautiful blooms are gone, but it still looks like I'm drawing some textures here, if I'd like. Okay, so that's my wheel. Now, if I want to add some white to this blue and make a little lighter gray, then I can color this part. So that's my wheel. Now I'll just focus on the water around it. I'm just drawing like squiggly lines around it. And I'm not touching the wheel to leave a little white space to create some contrast around it. But I'm changing the shades of blue because the ocean is different colors. I'm adding a little bit of green also. So that's your ocean. This is a very simple way of looking at it, okay? Now we can make our buildings brown. Just I'm doing one long stroke to do the buildings. Okay. Now just for, I'm gonna need to add yellow. So I'll start in small phases. So I don't want to ruin any bleeding will make it green. So I'm going around it and leaving white space. I can always build on it when it's dry. Because it's day, I'm thinking let's do a sun. Because the other ones are like night and moon and dark. And since the sun is that side, we'll just create a little bit of, just for fun. Just because I had extra paint on my. So that's kind of the watercolor look that you'd like. Once you let it dry, then you can ink the verse in. It's going to take some time to dry, so this is a nice time for you to just go get a snack, because if we touch watercolor when it's wet, then it'll kind of start getting muddy and smudge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this white paint marker and I'm going to write the verse into this dark part. Okay, but for that I need to let the paint dry, and there's no way that it's dried right now. I'm going to let the camera roll, and then once it's dry and I'm sure that it's dry, then I will take this and write in the verse. So it seems like it's dry, at least the whale is. I don't know about the sun. Sun's still getting there. But now I'm going to write the verse. Okay, it's still kind of present, but I cried out to the Lord and in my great trouble, and he now just to cover the mistake that I made, I'm just gonna do a little bit of shading here. So it looks like so whale's eye can be like an eye. With the black inside. And a whale can have spots. This is a brush pen. Just to kind of give it a definition. It's not popping out, you can just go back and draw over what you wrote, so it kind of is a little more prominent and pops out. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just experimenting. But if you want to kind of draw, I'm taking a light blue brush pen. I'm just drawing some variation lines to fill in the whites, just so it doesn't look so empty. See, this bloom is so beautiful. So you've got the waves, like the aqua, green, then you've got like a blue going through it. But of course I have to do this after the paint dries, because otherwise if you don't wait for the paint to dry, it gets really muddy. So remember that. Like, this is really beautiful. And watercolor actually looks better after it's dried. When you're painting it, it may not look very good. But if you want, you can just draw some birds. Done. This is what we did today. And if this is overwhelming for you, you're welcome to just download this and color in this. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I hope you were helped. And remember that when you do cry out, when you're having troubles, when you do cry out to the Lord, He will answer you. It's a hope that you should hold on to for the rest of your life. Thanks for joining me, and I will catch you in the next Eat, Pray, Art. Bye!